34 participants. Great. So it's 4 o'clock now. Arun, should we start?
Yeah, sure.
Thomas, do we start? All right, great. Hello all, welcome all. My name is Rohan Massey, co-founder of QFUS. QFUS is an on-demand premier mentorship platform. We have a community of certified experts who guide individuals in their journey of exploration. QFUS also offers a complete set of tools such as hosting skill or knowledge-based workshops and coaching to enhance the individual's capacity in terms of knowledge or skill. Today, we are happy to be collaborating with Nisadia. Thank you, Arvind, for this opportunity. And this is our first webinar of the webinar series. And today, we have an amazing mentor with us to take us through the session to start off the webinar series today. He is QFUS' first onboarded mentor, a 5-star mentor, and a wonderful human being who genuinely wants to give back to the community through his mentorship. You can get access through subscribing to www.qfus.com. Please welcome Mr. Thomas John. Thank you so much for your time, Thomas. Thank you so much for your time during this busy schedule. He is the founder and CEO of Rijola IT Services, and today for the today's webinar, exclusive webinar on elevator pitch. I would like to give on the mic to you, Mr. Thomas. So I'll put my video on. I'll just close my video for now so that you'll have better bandwidth. If you have any other kind of presentation, you can do it yourself, or we can do it from the back end as well.
Sure. Thank you, Rohan, and it's a privilege to be part of this. And I'd like to first start off thanking the entire QFUS team, NIT Trichy, and the organizing team of Nisadia and Sankalp. It's been an amazing opportunity. I do have a presentation that I'll make. So let me share my screen. So, are you able to see my slide completely, or is it showing in the closed format? Are you able to see the complete slide? Mr. Rohan, are you able to see the complete slide?
Yes, Thomas, it's visible.
Okay, so you're seeing our company logo, Rijola, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
And
Rijola.com, the branding and pitch perfect by Thomas John. So the complete screen is seen.
Okay, done. Thank you very much, and welcome to all the participants. It's an honor to be here. And so I'll get started with the presentation because I have prepared it in a particular flow. And by the end of it, I hope I would have answered a lot of doubts or apprehensions any of you have with respect to how to create a pitch and how to make a presentation to investors, or how to create a business plan also. So let me start right away. So a little bit background about me. I have been programming since my school days. It's been a great hobby for me to create software programs. So that's what I've been doing. That's my hobby that I have. I did my BE Mechanical and MBA in Marketing and Finance. I passed out in 2004. And then I worked for 7 years in 3 different multinationals, both in India and abroad. And the company that I'm running, it's called Rijola IT Services. So we started in 2011. So for 9 years, I've been an entrepreneur. And of course, it's been completely bootstrapped. I have not gone for any investments. Having said that, I'll give a small introduction to our company also. So Rijola was founded in 2011. We have 190 plus customers. We have presence in close to 10 countries around the world, as software solutions are being used by customers from different parts of the world. So my introduction to creating business plans and pitching to investors started in 2003, where when I was studying my MBA, we made a presentation, me and my team, we made a presentation in TFI Management Institute, and we won the first prize. It was a national competition where we presented a business plan for, it was like a hospital waste management solution. Okay, so that was a business plan that we made. And so that is where my journey of thinking of businesses, thinking of creating a pitch, or thinking of creating a business plan. All that thing started close to 18 years back, 17, 18 years back. And as recent as 1 year back, I had another experience where one of our product that we created, just like that, we just created a product, a software solution, just to give it away for free. We had no intention to charge anyone for that particular software product that we created. And the moment we launched that particular product, we were pleasantly surprised. Two of the venture capitalist funds from India, large venture capitalist funds from India, contacted us wanting to invest on the product. So Mayfield was one venture capitalist, and Matrix Partners was the other venture capitalist funds that contacted us. And this was the product that we created, autocollect.com. It is still there. It is still free. It is there online. Just giving you a small background about what is my personal exposure with creating a pitch or creating a business plan or presenting to investors. Okay, so the entire format of this particular presentation, I have made it in a way that it reveals itself as a checklist, or it reveals itself as a guide, so that all of you can keep your personal business plans in mind, and probably have a notebook with you and just tick whether your business plan meets with what I am going to say. Okay, so I have 4 different categories that I'm going to speak about, and I think I'll be covering close to 10 or 12 different points, and I will be talking about the importance of those points, or how important those points are, or how necessary those points are, in your business plan or in your pitch. So you can just go ahead and start ticking whether you are covering that aspect of what I am presenting in your business plan or in your pitch that you are going to create. So that is the format that I'm following. So it would benefit if you have a notepad and a pen with you, so that you can just start checking the whether whatever I've mentioned is there in your plan or not. Okay, so to start off, I have named the next few slides as pitch perfect, priority for perfection. That is, what is the priority or the first thing that your pitch must have, or your business plan must have? Okay, so that's the order. So what is the first one, then the second one, and third one? Of course, it can go, the order can change, but I feel that if you follow this particular order, or if you have all these things in your business plan or in your presentation, it will definitely make a difference. So the first thing that pitch must have is a problem. What I mean by that is, how big a problem are you trying to solve? Is it really a problem that is there in the world? Are people really struggling with this problem? Or are you creating a product or a service that does not even meet any problem? So this is the first basic thing, because what happens is, when there is a problem that you're trying to solve and you're trying to create a solution for that particular problem, which is which people are having, then the chances of your business succeeding is much higher. Because when you want to sell your product or service to the public, to the prospects, they will want to buy it only if they know that some problem that they have is being solved. So in your presentation or in your business plan or in your pitch that you will be creating, the first and most important thing is the problem being defined clearly in a very clear manner? Because if the problem is not being defined, then the whole pitch itself is of no use. Okay, so that's the first and the most important element of a pitch or a presentation that you can make: problem. The second most important thing that you should be thinking about is the solution. Okay, so is the problem being defined correctly and the solution being defined correctly? And one of the winning points in this is, or if you really want to make a difference, what matters is whether your solution is disruptive or not. because these days you see, in the last 1 or 2 decades, you see that the innovations that are happening are not just small increments in innovation, but there is massive disruptions happening to entire industries where new products and services are coming in, and they're totally different from their predecessors, and they're creating an entire new category of products or services and solutions being done. So if you see, elevator pitch is basically, typically people say that an elevator pitch should last for 30 seconds. That is what you get. Okay, that's the typical timing for an elevator pitch. So if you have 30 seconds to make a presentation, and if you want to impress an investor or a venture capitalist fund or a angel investor, or if you have just 30 seconds, these two elements are mandatory. You need to tell the problem and you need to tell the solution. The problem has to be really big. Literally everybody faces the problem, and the solution preferably should be a disruptive one. Okay. Yeah. So those are the two most important things. Now, having said this, let us see what are the next categories. So the way I have structured the entire presentation is, as I said, I have grouped the different categories. So I don't know how long you would be having in your actual presentation. So since I did not know the time of your actual presentation, I have grouped them in such a way that if you're given 30 seconds, you just cover these two. If you're given, let's say, 2 minutes or 5 minutes, you probably include a little more. If you're given 10 minutes, you include much more. If you're given half an hour or 1 hour, you go ahead and tell the whole thing. Make a beautiful presentation, and then you tell the whole thing. Okay, so the next one is, what has been your experience, or what is your background? That is, let's say you're extremely passionate about something. A couple of you, or 3 or 4 of you, are extremely passionate about something, and then you did some project on that particular interest that you had, or that passion that you had, and you, without even an intention of making it into a product or a service, or without even an intention of finding investors for your the idea that you had, you just were so involved in it. You spent like 6 months or 1 year working on it, and then suddenly something happened. It turned out to be a beautiful product or a service, and then you started pitching it to investors. So what happens is, when investors listen to, or the panelists, for example, listen to your pitch with the problem and solution, they are also looking at whether you really have a passion, towards what you're speaking, or have you really done some kind of a background, or are you just competing for the for that particular event. So they would be interested to know what is the background, how are this team of participants really involved in this particular project, what are they doing, what is the background they have. So they are interested in that. So if you can bring in that kind of an element in your presentation while you're speaking, it will really weigh a lot. It will really help you to score more points. Next, and I would say this is probably one of the most important thing, the team that is involved. Now what I mean by that is, the panelists, the investors, or the whomever you're going to present this particular pitch or the presentation that you have, they are looking very closely at the team, at the people. What happens is, if there are two people presenting exactly the same idea, the panelists would select the person who's got extremely high energy, great passion, and if there's a synergy in the team. So guys, if you are part of a team, and if you are not enthusiastic while you're making the presentation, if you're not passionate while making the presentation, if you're not cheering and putting all your best in front of the judges and panelists, you're going to find it tough to to make them feel that whatever you're doing is really valuable, or they can really bet that they can invest money on your idea or in your product and service. So as a team, put in a lot of energy, and bring in a lot of passion, show a lot of synergy, practice your pitch really well. If it's a longer pitch, a 20-minute or a 30-minute pitch, you should almost stage manage the entire show, because they are really interested to see who the team is, who are the people who are behind that particular project or the kind of pitch that you're going to do. Okay. Now, having said this, now until here, even as students, you will be able to make a presentation. But going further down the line of checklist that I have come up with, it may be a little high-level checklist that it might not be applicable for students, but if you can really research on whatever I'm going to tell from here, and if you can really read a lot of content and come up with all these points also in your pitch, it can make a major difference. So let me tell what they are. Competition. Okay. Do you know existing solutions well? What I mean by that is, when you are making a presentation or a pitch to the investors or the panelists, you should not be giving a solution that is already existing somewhere. You should not repeat the same thing again. Now, that can happen if you do not know what is there in the market, if you do not know what is there as a competition, or what are the solutions that are already there. So what that basically means is you have to do a lot of homework, you have to do a lot of research to understand that the solution that you're coming up with is unique. Okay, so this is very, very important. If you don't take care of this solution, the panelists will listen to you, but they'll say, yeah, this is already there, this particular solution is already there, so what is that unique about these guys? So that's one thing that you will have to be very clear about. So in your presentation, you can even include something about competition, that this is what the competition does, but this is what we are going to do, and this is the benefit that we are going to get, or this is the problems that the competition has, or this is how they are not able to solve the problems that the customers have. But however, in our case, we are able to solve this because of this advancement or something like that. So mentioning competition and giving a clear differentiation about your product and service can be a big point gaining aspect for you. So the next one is, again, this is something probably beyond some common small presentation. This is for a little larger presentation, that you are able to talk about the financials of the entire project or the business plan. That is, you are able to tell about the cost of the product or service, you're able to tell about the revenues, you're able to tell about the operational profits, you're able to give a complete financial statement. Okay, a simple projection of a financial statement. Now you might say, but I am not a finance background person, so how do I do that? You will have to do the research, and you will have to give in some numbers that gives the panelists or the investors confidence that, okay, this guy also not only knows about the technology side of it, or the product and service side of it, the operational side of it, they also know a little bit about the financials of the whole project. So including this element, if you have a lot of time, can bring in a lot of points for you. Okay, next. Now, this is for those who are really serious about getting investors, or a team who can really land with some investments. The final phase, you can see four different colors that I have put. Now we have come to the final phase of checklist items that you can have in your pitch or in your presentation. Do you have a prototype, okay, or a proof of concept? Now what happens when the real world, when the investors are looking to find a project where they can put in a lot of money, because ultimately they need returns. So what they look for is a prototype. So that is why when we created the product called autocollect.com, two of the venture capitalist funds, they themselves contacted us by just finding us on Google, is because they saw that there was some kind of a prototype already created. Autocollect.com was there, all the features were listed there. So they felt that maybe these guys are ready with something, and probably they're looking for investment, so let us go approach them. So we did not approach investors, they came to us. So creating a working prototype, even if it's a very preliminary one, it can be a major point gainer if you have enough time in your presentation. If you have like 30 minutes or 45 minutes, and if you can do a demo of your prototype, that will be amazing for your pitch or your presentation. Next. Of course, again, this is a final category. How much of investment do you need? I do not know whether in your event there is a need for you to tell about, you're looking for 1 crore lakhs or whatever amount, I'm not sure, but investors do want to know how much money do you want, if that is the approach that is there, so that those also come as part of your presentation. And of course, investors are also very interested to find out what kind of a returns can they expect. Okay, so if they invest 1 crore in a matter of 3 or 4 years, how much money would they get back? So that's also something that investors are very much interested to listen to. But as I said, it all depends on how long your presentation is allowed to be. If it's like a short one, probably you can skip few of them towards the end. As I said, I've tried my best to rate this under priority, from high priority to low priority based on the time that you have. So returns also something they are very much interested in. Like if you can tell them you will get 50% return in a matter of 1 year, or 100% return in a matter of 2, 3 years or 4 years, they would be really interested. And with a prototype, imagine you have a prototype, you already have some test customers and they've given good reviews, and you're also promising them that you'll give so much of returns, and that's the best thing investors really want to hear. Final thing, which according to me, the most important thing also, which an investor, especially large investors, are very interested in is your entire business model scalable? That is, can they take the entire business model to every part of the world, and not make it a regional or a state or a country, but take it to the whole globe, because obviously that's when you can cater to the 7.5 billion people in the world, and then you can make most returns. So this is what few of the things that the investors or the panelists who are listening to pitch or who are listening to business plans are looking for from the team members, from the presentations. So as I said, if you had your notepad and your pen, and your business plan was with you, or your idea was with you, I hope you made tick that okay, I think we have a strong problem and our solution is good, but maybe we do not have much of a experience, so probably we'll have to read a lot. As a team, we are great. We have done a great job. We have great energy, great enthusiasm, but I don't think we know much about the competition, so probably we need to read more about the competition. Projections, yeah, maybe we know a little bit, not much. So I hope you have done that kind of an analysis as I was going through all these points, and you do have questions, so we can take questions. I think I kept it very short, so probably we can cover more time with questions.
On the question.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Thomas. So I have been taking in account all the questions that's coming in the chat box.
Sure.
So people, you can also please go ahead. Whoever has questions, please post it in the chat box. I'll take it up with Mr. Thomas. So the first one is, for a 60-second pitch, shall I talk about my experience or the business model and financials in detail? How much importance does a financial model play in an elevator pitch?
Yeah, you'll have to be careful. Again, as I said, if your time is short, you might want to skip whatever I have mentioned towards the bottom side, but definitely cover the things that I have mentioned at the top. So, for example, if I share my screen and if I go back to this, so if it's a 60-second, I mean, now of course I've come to know of the time. So if it is 60-second, maybe you can just stick to the first 4 or first 5. You need not have to go to the below ones, because if you start talking about financials in 60 seconds, the panelists will be all confused at what are they trying to solve. Because ultimately a pitch is, there is a problem in the world, this is the solution that we have, and it's a great business model. So that's the overall short pitch that they want. So I hope I have answered your question. So,
yeah, and how much importance does a financial model play in an elevator pitch?
That's what I said. Be as brief as possible. There's another question before that. I think Anvesh Bhagat has asked how to overcome bias nature in competitions.
Yeah, I've been just noting down the question in a separate sheet, so I'm just going one by one.
Okay. How
That's the second question.
does a financial model play in an elevator pitch? Not much, because you have 60 seconds. Again, as I said, follow this particular order and stick to the top priority ones, and try to grab the attention of the panelists. Because if you can, for example, I'll give you a few examples. Just I'm just coming up with something. Of course, I saw a movie sometime recently. So let's say you tell the panelists that we have found a solution for hair loss or hair growth or bald head. Okay, this is part of a movie that I saw recently. The moment you tell that, it's a huge problem in the world, and you're saying you have a solution, and you're saying you worked, let's say, for 6 months, and we've experimented it on 10 people, and 8 of them got hair. Now, problem and solution. Would you like to invest in us? That's such a short pitch, but it's a huge, it's covering a big problem. It's giving a huge solution, and so they'll start listening to you. So, so when you're having 60 seconds and you start bringing in a lot of financials and all, it might not work well. It might not work well. Yeah.
Correct.
I've answered, yeah.
And the next question is how to overcome bias nature in competitions, as at times the winning team or the best team has a robust business plan but is unlikely to come to reality. So how can we make sure that the ideas and plans that are in the real world set a win that of the best hypothetical pitch?
See, I'll tell you something. In fact, in the past 1 week, I have been listening to a lot of Elon Musk's videos, his interviews, and all. Elon Musk is the guy who he is the founder of Tesla and SpaceX and all that. And so, the way he's speaking, if you don't know who he is, watch him on YouTube. I'm sure all of you know him. If you've seen his videos, the way he speaks is, that we should be prepared for Mars, and we should have a colony there in such a way that even if there are no supplies coming from Earth and coming from Mars, the Mars colony should be able to survive by themselves. If you start listening to this, he is talking literally totally unpractical, totally hypothetical, but he has been speaking like this for the probably last 15-20 years, and he's proven over a period of time that the way he speaks or the future that he projects becomes a reality. Why I brought that up here is because see, what happens is, if you have proven something, as I said in the, like, for example, in the list of priority, prototype, if you have created a prototype and if you have shown some kind of a working model, then there are investors who are willing to invest millions and billions of dollars in your plan. But if it's completely hypothetical, for example, in case of Elon Musk, of course, he had the huge wealth he made from PayPal. So that's the money that he was able to use. Now, coming specifically to your question, how to overcome bias nature in competitions, as at times the winning team or the best team has a robust business plan but is unlikely to come to reality. See, it depends on the panelist, it depends on the investor, it depends on the risk-taking ability of the investor, whether they're really thinking too big and they want to really invest on a plan. But as I said, they are looking at all these factors. They are not, they don't believe that it is completely hypothetical and it may, not become reality. One of the things that I have been observing, and also I've read in places, and if you also, of course, watch videos on YouTube, when investors make a decision to invest on a particular project, most of the time they're investing in the team or the people. They are not investing in the product or services most of the time. So what that basically means is, the presenting team, if they are extremely passionate about whatever they are presenting, and they have done a lot of background work and try to create a prototype, and it is with that background that they are trying to present, then it gains more points. Okay, so how can we make sure that the ideas and plans that are in real world set a win than that of best hypothetical pitches? Okay, Anvesh, really, I hope I'm able to give you bits and pieces of your questions. I mean, your question answers. I hope I'm able to do that. If not, maybe below you can put a specific question from this, so that I can answer even more, specifically to your question. So I hope that this checklist helps you to actually get an answer to your question. So if that's good, we'll move to the next one. But
Yeah, sure.
if you still have, please put a specific question below. I'd love to answer that.
I will move on to the next one. Okay, even if own solution already exists in the market, can we improve on that upon that solution and innovate according to greater needs?
If there is a massive improvement, yes. But if there's a small improvement, a small notch of improvement, maybe not. See, because if, let's say, for example, mobile phones, not apps, sorry, mobile phones. So now I think the megapixel has reached, like, I think 64 or somewhere, that kind of megapixels and all have reached in the camera, for example. Now let's say you're creating an innovation and you're saying that, our megapixel is 90 megapixel, and we want investors to put on this 90 megapixel. Probably they would not be that excited, because they know anyway, if the other existing players have reached 64 megapixel or somewhere around that range, it's very easy for them to jump to 90. There's nothing great new thing that you're trying to bring into the whole product or service. So I don't think that would be a good pitch if you are just trying to improve a little bit. Yeah.
Sir, can I only ask this question. Can I counter this? Like, I have a follow-up question from what you said.
Okay.
Sir, we can't improve on the product too much, but can we change the business model? Like, if I give an example of Flipkart, Flipkart was not a new kind of thing. Like, it is Amazon of India, and similar thing was present in America also. And the product was same in India, but it was just a change in the business model and change in the target audience. And it happened it happened to be a huge success in India. So in a similar way, it is not necessary that always the product needs to be improved or it needs to be bettered, but we can change the business model or the target audience or anything else like that.
Yeah, see, the first thing is, you said that they have changed the business model. To be honest, I have not studied what is the change that they have brought in. So I probably do not have the knowledge to bring in Flipkart as an example. But again, the success of Flipkart was the team who was behind Flipkart. There are a few other stories which did not work in India. I mean, I'm not sure if it is really successful or not. For example, Snapdeal. I don't see much of Snapdeal happening these days. So if the team is fabulous and they are pretty aggressive with what they want to do, and then they're able to find investors, yes, it can work. And what happens is, usually in the market, if you study MBA, they say that there are two or three big players usually in the market. So if there's only one big player in the market and there's nobody else, then probably you can make a pitch, as you said, with a small alternate in the business plan. But let me be honest with you. Again, the investors are they are looking at these criteria. They're looking at, okay, what is the market size? That is where the financials and all come into play. There's, okay, this is the market size. The large player is having only 50% of the market size. So let us become the second player because there's no one else, and capture the next 50%. If that is the scenario, maybe yes. I hope I've answered your question.
All right, let's go on to the next question.
Yeah.
Will including a balance sheet for a future date be practical, or is it better to just state figures in an Excel table?
60 seconds. If you can mesmerize the panelists by creating a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation with all the slides, with the problem, with the solution, and the balance sheet and everything, if you can put there, and if you can really energetically put it as a story, for example. Now, even, okay, I don't know how many of you have watched Shark Tank. I think you should watch Shark Tank and probably get more inputs from there, more than what probably I can give, though I have done pitch and presentation and also won an award. But there they give you, you can also get examples. So if you see, you can tell it as a story. Tell the problem, tell the solution. This is the prototype. This is the financials. Everything, if you can squeeze in 60 seconds, amazing. Please do it. It will definitely gain you more points. Yeah.
Awesome. The next one is, can you tell us what should be in a scalability slide? Any kind of an example?
Okay. So when I was telling all these points, again, as I said, I'm not expecting you to make slides of each of them, but of course I leave that to you. See, scalability, the concept is, what happens is, like, when you have a product or a service, the investor is interested to find out. Let's say you are saying that, I will create 1,000 of the product every month, for example, some product or service that you have in mind, 1,000 every month, and you are requesting the investor to give you, like, let's say 1 crore of rupees or something you want him to invest, or some amount. The investor is also thinking, hey, this business model seems to be good, and they have right now the plan of doing 1,000 per month, but it seems to be scalable. I think I can make it 1 lakh per month or 1 crore per month. Maybe I can open branches in other countries also. So the investor starts thinking like that. So in this, if you are talking about having a slide of scalability, what you can tell is that this is a global concept. That's why I put the globe image there. It's a global concept. So if it that you're confident that it will succeed in India because there is a problem, and the solution is this, and I'm sure it can be replicated all around the world. It's a global phenomenon. So that kind of message can be put on the scalability slide, or that should be there in your entire pitch. So
Right.
yeah.
Got it. The next one, can you please repeat the third point of the slide? How experience plays a role in the pitch. If we have less experience, then how do we persuade panelists or investors?
Yeah. See, when the investors are listening to you or the panelists are listening to you, they are trying to see whether you really understand what you're speaking, whether you have good depth of knowledge in what you're speaking, or are you just, pretending, or are you just read somewhere a little bit, copied from somewhere, and you're trying to make it. And they'll find out. They can hear to you. They will know what you're speaking. So if you have less experience, the best thing that you can do is spend almost all your waking up time, whatever time you have other than your studies and all that, to pick up material and start reading about that similar field. For example, if you have a IT solution, start reading about every single IT solution that you know. Divide among your team members, make presentations between each other, and increase your depth of knowledge with respect to that particular field as much as possible. Reading, you need not be actual, working experience. Obviously, we cannot expect many of you to have working experience in those fields. I'm talking about knowledge levels also. How much of depth of knowledge do you have? So please read as much as possible. There are a lot of books available. You can download them from even PDF drive. You can probably check the internet and get as much material, and just start reading and making presentations. That awareness itself will reveal to the panelists that, hey, these guys really know what they're speaking, and your entire voice itself will change. So your confidence itself will be different. Yeah.
Great. The next one is, if I have an idea and I'm using this competition as a platform to note the responses on how should I go about it. So basically, he has an idea and he's just using this competition as a platform to note the responses. So
Yeah.
he doesn't have any financial statements or experience regarding the service that he will be proposing.
Yeah. We missed 2-3 questions above. Is it okay, or should I go to the questions that come down?
Which ones?
It says here, should we make a video of ourselves explaining it, or can it be like a presentation?
Okay, I think I missed that. Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I have a question now. This particular event is it going to be completely virtual, or is it going to be any stage or anything is going to be there? It's completely, is it completely virtual?
Yes, sir, it's completely virtual.
Okay. I would say that you make the presentation, don't make a video, because it will be more lively, and the panelists will really enjoy seeing team members passionate and enthusiastically presenting right there on a Zoom platform or something. So I would strongly recommend to make a presentation and not a video. That's my feeling. That's my personal feeling, because as I said, one of the important elements is team. or you can even probably club, but 60 seconds is very tricky. So, you'll have to see how to do it. And another thing that can happen in Zoom platform is technology issues. If you, like, for example, when you share a video and if the audio doesn't go properly, and if the panelists, you get only 60 seconds, and if there's some technical glitch, then you can have problems. So I would say presentation. So I think you should do a mock presentation at least some 20-30 times, practice it multiple times in two different places with Zoom and all that, different people giving you feedback. I think that is the best thing to go do. That's according to me. Yeah. Next one is, I think there's another question which says, please release the third point of the slide. How experience?
So I think that's
done. Yeah, that's done. Okay.
That's what we covered.
Yeah.
I think we'll go to that the idea. Yeah.
If I have an idea and I am using this competition as a platform to note the response, how should I go about it? I don't have the financial statements or experience regarding the service that I will be proposing. See, as I said, if basically what you're saying is you have an idea, and I would say, yes, that these are the checklists. Now, to be very honest, I don't know whether the panelists would give you a feedback. I'm not sure if that is part of the program. So if I were to give you a feedback and you only have an idea, so basically what you're saying is you have a solution, but if it's not solving a problem or rest of the things are not there, the idea might be excellent. Okay, the idea might be fabulous, but whether you will find investors is a question mark. Okay, so the panelists, if there's a feedback, of course, they may give you a feedback as to what they think about it. But I'm really not sure how else I can answer this. If I have an idea, I'm using this competition as a platform to note response. So if they give you a response, okay, yeah, you can make a note of it. Yeah, but what matters in a pitch is you have to have all these elements so that they can give you more points.
Great.
Yeah.
So the next one is, what are the most common questions investor may ask after your presentation?
What are the most common questions they may ask? One of the questions that they asked us when we made a presentation, of course, our presentation was much longer. It was a business plan presentation. So we were asked, we gave financial projections in which the interest rate of loans that we had kept was very high. So one of the questions they asked is, why are you keeping the interest rate so high? So we were very confident. So we answered saying that even if the interest rates are so high, we will succeed. So that was one of the things that they asked us. And apart from that, they ask questions like, can you show us a working model, or how many sample data do you have? What I mean by sample data is, if you are basically having a software product or some kind of a service, they would like to see like how many people have used it and what is their feedback, or have you really sold this before, or these could be the questions, or can you really tell what is the problem that you're trying to solve? If you are not clear with the problem statement, they can even ask you questions like, what is the problem that you're trying to solve? Or they can even ask you questions like, who do you think your market is? Like, is it younger generation or older generation? Do you have a clarity of that? They may even ask you like, how did this thought come to you? Anything, they can ask anything here. So that's what, yeah.
Right. The next one is how to lay projections if the startup is still in an ideation stage.
There are different kinds of investors that are there. You have seed investors, you have angel investors, you have venture capitalists. So if you have an out of the world idea, and if you have a huge background about that, for example, let's say you are a nuclear scientist, okay, a nuclear scientist who's had some 25 years of experience in that particular field, and one fine day you have an idea that I can do something in this nuclear energy technology or something, and then that's a completely new new idea, but you have a huge background behind you in that field, and you're going and speaking to an investor saying that I've got an idea. And when that person looks at you and knows that you've got 20 years or 25 years of experience in that field, and then with that authority, you're saying, I've got an idea. Those investors are also called seed investors. That is absolutely, it's in an idea stage. There is no prototype. There is nothing there, but the person who's coming with the idea wants money to do it. So they start looking at your background. They start looking at your experience. So if you say here, if it is still in an ideation stage, then it might not help with your background or your experience in a elevator pitching competition. It might not help much. So I hope I have answered that question.
Right. The next one is
Rohan, just a minute.
Yeah.
Can I make a clarification?
Sure,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. Sir, like the round 2 is for the elevator pitch, and participants are required to submit a video, and that can include creatives, that can include slides, that can include even the video of you yourself pitching it to the investors. And one more good news is that for the finals, we have got a venture capitalist mainly into early tech investments. So do give your best for this round. Clarifying one more thing, the minimum duration of the elevator pitch is 1 minute and maximum is 2 minutes. So I think sir can also give you some tips regarding that. Minimum is 1 minute and maximum is 2 minutes. The format should be a video, but it can include creatives as well. Thank you.
Oh, amazing. So that means it actually answers one of the questions precisely, saying that a video, should we make a video? Then I think you should make a video only. So yeah, so it answers that. And it's good that early technology ideas also should be given weightage. Yeah, good. Thanks. Thank you, Sankalp, for clarifying that. So do we go to next question?
Yeah, sure. So basically, the next question is about this idea is not available in India, it's available in the West.
Yeah.
And the panelists ask about how practically can it be done in India. So how do we answer this?
Yeah. So to be honest, actually, what I have been observing is that this is actually an amazing business model to adopt and to actually succeed. If you're trying to copy a business model which is already existing in a developed country and it is yet to come into India, and bringing it to India in a time where the Indian market is also maturing is actually a business model that works most of the time and it succeeds most of the time. Many of the businesses that come in India are something that have been successful in the US or UK in a few of the developed countries, and they bring it to India and they do succeed. The practicality part, one thing that's happening nowadays, that if you have a business model like this, which is there in the US but not there in India, the gap is reducing. That is the nowadays what we see is whatever is getting launched in US, the business models and all that is also coming to India quite fast. The gap is reducing a lot, the time gap of launch and all. So I personally, until and unless it's a very, very, unique or a very niche product which only certain US clients require. For example, I'll tell you, like today I was watching a video about there is a Mars community or a Mars colony community. It's a YouTube channel that is there where Elon Musk was making a presentation. So that community, there was a huge participation in it. Now, that community basically focuses on who will be the people who will go to Mars and colonize first, or the people who are interested to go to Mars and get colonized first. Now that market might not be mature in India, or the kind of buyers for that kind of flying to Mars and setting a colony there might not be much. So this is a product that probably is getting developed in the developed countries like in US and all that, and we may not be able to bring it to India all of a sudden. So you will have to see how niche, how unique that product is, and decide on that. But if it's a small difference that it's already there in the US and it's a small difference of what's there in India, then I don't think the panelists will even ask you that, how practical it is, because that model actually is working. Something that's there in the US, bring it to India, and then ensure that it matures in India also. It works actually. It's a good model to have. Yeah.
Great. So I think Thomas will take 2 to 3 more questions,
Sure.
and then we'll probably close it. So we'll go to the next one. In our case, target customer is research community. So how can we make the problem statement more appealing to the investors from a non-scientific background?
See, one more thing that I have observed is that depending on the investor, few of the investors, like take Shark Tank itself, for example, or the two of the Mayfield and Matrix in venture capitalist funds that approached us also, they try to approach, or they are usually interested by those business plans or by those ideas where they also have a little bit of an exposure. Okay. So when you are trying to make a pitch, which is very, as you said, it is meant for the research community to a non-research background, they may not be able to connect much. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing is, if you are having panelists for, judging pitch, and if you have a venture capitalist fund, I think you really need not have to worry much about whether they will have the background or they will not have the background, as long as you're able to clearly give these details to them. Okay, if you're able to tell the problem, if you're able to tell the solution, all these things, I don't think you really need to be worried about whether they would have a scientific or a non-scientific background. So that's my answer for that.
Great. So I think I think Rahul Pandey has many follow-up questions. So even about the product we talked about in the West. So even if it's a niche product, how to make it practical in India? Is there any suggestion or advice on it?
No, see, it will be very difficult to succeed if the market does not mature. So if you bring in a product where there are very few takers in the market, then obviously their buyers will be low, the revenue will be low, the costs would be there, so the business would not survive. So if it's a very niche product and the market has not matured, then the investors would not be interested in. So it can fail. It can fail.
Right, right. So I'll take one last question. Post which, if there are any questions, team, you can either mail us or you can visit www.qfirst.com to arrange a one-on-one personalized session with Mr. Thomas. So one last question from Alan Sebastian. I have an amazing invention and have a solid physics background. I'm currently working on my prototype to make a proof of concept. I require a lab and funding. So my question is, my mentor advised against finding investors in my current stage. I really want to start up with my product. So any advice on it?
So basically what you're saying is that you want to start off with your product, but you don't have the money to do it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. He basically needs a lab and a funding to start off his prototype.
Okay.
And his mentors has advised him against finding investors at the current stage. So is there any advice to it? It might be, I mean, he himself said it's a little vague, but let's see if we can find some kind of an advice to it.
Okay. So my question is, again, once again, I'm just reading the same thing. I really want to start with the product. So I know the question is vague, but I really hope to get an answer to it. See, you believe that it is amazing. Now you will have to be clear that the market also believes that it is amazing. And usually what happens is, when we take a product or a service to the market, there might not be any takers for it. So it is essential to have a prototype and to to be able to test the product in the market. It is quite essential. Now, when you say amazing, what kind of a problem is it really solving, and what kind of a solution do you have? When you say amazing, for what problem? Is that problem very clear? And if you are saying you want a lab and you want to make the prototype, and see, it depends on how the see, for example, let us say, okay, now I'll give you one. I'm not sure if this might answer your question or not. So Alan, let us say that you are so passionate about this particular concept, that you have a very high grade in physics, and you've done a lot of presentations in this particular product, and you have really carved a niche out of yourself as your own brand. Like Alan Sebastian is a geek in physics, and he has already created small projects out of this. Or everybody identifies you as a person who is capable of doing something. Okay, now let's say that's the kind of background you have, and with that kind of a background, if you are presenting this to somebody, and of course you're saying that your mentors have told, I'm not going with what your mentors have told, I'm just talking about whether somebody will fund you and give you a lab. So if you are somebody who has extremely good background about this, very strong, and then if you present this idea to somebody, they may say, okay, probably I'll fund. Let's see if you can make. That's what a seed investment. Let's see that how you can make a prototype, because again, the problem that you're trying to solve has to be massive. Okay, so if that problem that you're trying to solve and you have amazing knowledge about it and you're able to create, then a seed investor can give you the fund. You can Google it and you can check who are the seed investors. Now, and I don't know why the mentors have advised current. I don't know what is the current stage. I don't know what is the concern. As you said rightly, it is vague. But pursue your dreams, and remember that ultimately, if it's solving a problem, it will work. If you're not solving any problem, it will not work. No matter how great the solution is, if you're not solving a problem, it will not work. So that's it.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Thomas. If there are any other questions, I would suggest you to please email to us, or you can probably visit www.qfirst.com to have a one-on-one personalized session with Mr. Thomas. I'll hand it over to Arvind of Sankalp team to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Rohan. First of all, before going into the vote of thanks, I would like to acknowledge QFest as a knowledge partner for Nisadia. Nisadia is the annual B-Fest of Department of Management Studies, NIT Trichy. And QFest is a digital mentorship platform with a community of certified experts who can guide individuals in their journey of exploration. QFest also offers a complete set of tools such as hosting, skill or knowledge-based workshops and coaching to enhance the skills of individuals. You can check out qfest.com for more details. And the current workshop is about Sankalp, and Sankalp is a flagship event of Nisadia, is the annual entrepreneurship event as part of Nisadia. So, and this time for this edition, we have prizes worth rupees 55,500 at stake. The top 3 teams also gets premium mentorship package worth rupees 7,500 along with the cash prize offered by QFest. You can log in to the E2C Dare to Compete platform for making the subsequent round submissions. And I would like to thank Mr. Thomas John, founder and CEO of Rajola IT Services, for taking his valuable time to schedule a webinar on this weekend. Thank you so much, sir. And also, I would like to take this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank QFest for organizing this webinar exclusively for the round 2 participants of Sankalp.
Thank you so much, Arvind. Thank you, Sankalp team, for the wonderful opportunity and collaboration.
I would also like to thank all the participants for joining in. We, the organizing team of Sankalp, along with QFest, wishes everyone all the very best for the competition. Thank you so much.
All the best, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you and all the best. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the wonderful session. Thank you.